Dear friends, current events are developing faster and faster, both in my fake political witch hunt case, which much more appropriately should be called a witch hunt by organized crime, because that's what politics in the EU is now, as you'll see in a moment, but in accordance with the famous synchronicity of events. Developments on the international and the German stage are also moving forward with lightning speed into space, where no man has gone before. On both stages, we can see panic on the Titanic taking hold of all those bad actors. So I thought that this is another good occasion to give you my take on both developments. I'll do this over the next couple of days, but I'll start with a short two-part statement today. 1. Remember Prosecutor John. He's the junior prosecutor from Hanover, whom the deep state transferred to Göttingen in order to make it impossible for senior prosecutor Reinicke, who is really in charge, to once again refuse to open a criminal investigation against me after his, that's John's, Berlin cronies had filed a fake criminal complaint against me. But he's also the prosecutor who protected his Berlin cronies when they stole more than 1.15 million euros of my money. Criminal and civil charges are pending both against him and his cronies, of course. Once again, John was now faced with a difficult choice when he learned that finally, after almost 2 years and 9 months of pretrial detention, my release from captivity looks imminent. He also knows that I'm coming for him. So what choice did he have? Well, he could either play by the rules this time for a change, or he could commit another crime. He chose the latter, of course, and started a new criminal investigation against me, this time because of the gold purchases for the Corona Committee, claiming that his Berlin cronies, including Viviane Fischer, had been kept in the dark about this. He knows, of course, that this is wrong. He knows he's lying because Viviane Fischer even testified about this in court while he was there. She testified that she knew about it and that the gold is sitting in a vault in a Berlin bank where she had it stored. And he also knows that this is wrong because Viviane Fischer published an article on December the 21st, 2025, informing the public about the fact that Antonia Fischer and Justus Hoffmann lied in court when they claimed not to know anything about the gold purchases when in fact they did, as they stated in 2 affidavits for a civil case they had brought against Viviane Fischer. Apart from this, he knows that his Berlin cronies filed 2 civil complaints for damages because of the gold, one against me in Göttingen and another against Viviane Fischer in Berlin. And if he has actually gone to law school, which I seriously doubt, judging from his performance in court, then he must know that his cronies will lose both cases. In short, there will be more criminal and civil charges against John, among them one for wrongful prosecution. Because it is obvious that what he really wants is to fabricate a new reason for a new arrest warrant to keep me in prison. 2. Yesterday and the day before yesterday, President Trump, in his inimitable zigzagging way, thankfully continued to destroy both NATO and the totally corrupt EU. First, he declared at the NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey, that the only reason he had come was to pay his respects to Turkey's leader, whose military is the second largest in NATO, but that otherwise NATO is both useless and irrelevant for the U.S. and is only costing it money. He's right, of course, as the U.S. military is stronger than that of all other NATO members combined. And then he declared that he didn't want to have anything to do with Spain, another NATO and EU member. He didn't want anything to do with them any longer and was stopping all trade with Spain effective immediately. Once again, he expressed that he was also disappointed with Germany, Great Britain, and Italy, exposing all 4 countries, all of whom are NATO members and 3 of whom are EU members, to international ridicule, thereby making EU membership even less attractive for anyone in their right mind. If you add the fact that the EU Commission's president has been the subject of a massive criminal investigation for corruption in connection with the purchase of the potentially deadly corona vaccines, then what incentive is there left to remain in, or even worse, to become a new member of the EU? None, unless you have a desire for EU-wide frontal lobe ventilation. This development is matched by Chancellor Merz's popularity. By his plummeting popularity. According to the polls as published by the mainstream media, only 14% of the population think he's doing a good job, the lowest ever recorded for any German chancellor. And if the mainstream media publish this number, then his real popularity must be closer to zero. Plus, his coalition government is once more embroiled in a massive fight with each other because of the so-called reforms he has been promising for over a year now. And that's because the reforms he has been trying to announce boil down to throwing the German taxpayers' money out the window by 1, sending it to the beggar's banquet snowman in Kiev, 2, wasting it on the Middle East, and 3, on the all-inclusive care for illegal and criminal aliens led into the country by Merkel. And in return, making fun of the Germans by sorrowfully explaining to them that unfortunately there's no money left for adequate health care, adequate pensions, and adequate infrastructure, including at least a halfway functioning train system. That's all for today, but I'll keep you posted over the next couple of days, live stream-like, as this is indeed actually a positive development insofar as it is an excellent wake-up program. There's a song by Aretha Franklin that matches the situation, and it is called Who's Zooming Who? In other words, who has whom in their sights now? We'll see you very soon, my friends. Bye-bye.